So getting into Superman Fantastic Four month, I'm sure you guys know why we're focusing on these two. But today, it's going to be Super Soldier. And this is amazing. Because we got Mark Waid and Dave Gibbons. Like, what the hell? This is like the Illuminati coming together, making a comic book. Two legends of their time. Two legends through comic book time. And yes, I know all the Mark Waid lore. I know it. We still look at his work with a fresh set of eyes. Part of this channel is being fair. Now, if you don't like Mark Waid, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know you're out there. Because I know a lot of you guys are. But no, guys, we try and blanket everything. A lot of times when I review these, even though they're creators that may have jumped the shark, we be fair for the time, the era that they put into the comic. Meaning, we have to go back to 1996, before Mark Waid was Mr. Drama, right? 96, he was a comic book god. This is the perfect book for him. This is the perfect book for Dave Gibbons. I want to make a note of the colorist here. We get it in the first, well, sort of splash page. Super Soldier right here. That's our boy. Angus McKay. And the reason for that is we get a lot of airbrushing, and it kind of works with Mr. Gibbons, and it kind of doesn't work with Mr. Gibbons. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's just look at, page 1, Origin, where, see, like where we airbrush the highlights on the muscle, and it kind of makes, I call it like a smoky look. It just makes the form look smoky, as opposed to solid. And sometimes it lands and sometimes it doesn't. I think it works a little bit better in this book with this scenario with a limited capacity. So we get the origin, and we can see it's an alien crash lands on Earth. He gets experimented on. He starts lifting up things using laser eyes to shatter someone's glasses. Like, what a dick. And then we jump into Jimmy Olsen. So a lot of the caption here, this is from the words of Jimmy Olsen. There's no Lois Lane. It's Jimmy Olsen and Super Soldier. Jimmy Olsen is working on the history of all of this. And he writes, during the Great War, there was the Super Goliath, right? What's the name? Here we go. It's the, Ultra Metallo. Ultra Metallo, of course, you know, it's got to be a Yahtzee. But they're fighting over the Atlantic, and they both disappear. He disappears, and Ultra Metallo's destroyed. And Jimmy Olsen witnesses all of it. And what a striking panel here. Look at those shadows. That's a Woodrow Wilson right there when it comes to comic book shadowing. And then it jumps into the modern day, where Lex Luthor Brainiac, and his Hydra buddies, they've kidnapped Jimmy Olsen, and Lex Luthor Brainiac he's like, guys, just real quick, look at some of these highlights. I think these are some of the highlights that work. But essentially, he's like, hey, we think you know something about Ultra Metallo. What are you going to do about it? So they send him to the Daily Planet. He stumbles in, bloody as hell, with a clue. And it's only a comic book clue, because this clue will only work in comic terms. But Super Soldier sees this. So this is Steve Rogers' Clark Kent, right? He looks like Steve Rogers, but he has the job of Clark Kent. He grabs his shield from his briefcase, and he flies off. So again, like, some of this is like, if he's flying, should he have like more of a period flight suit? Should he have a cape? These are all the things, like, right? It could take months to design a perfect amalgam character. It really can, with all of the choices you can make. And we have a little bit of a flashback, with him and Ultra Metallo. And he goes, cost the world the chance to be free of your evil. for the next half century. That's a shame. I'll make up for it if it takes my dying breath. So he knows he's going into danger. And here, thanks to Jimmy Olsen's watch, this is so funny. Because like they're trying to track down Ultra Metallo. And Brainiac Lex Luthor is like, look, I know you lied in that book you wrote. So, like, this clue, stick with me, AKAPADers. That clue is this. And he goes, at 4 o'clock, cast a sundial shadow directly at that building. So that's it. That was the clue. That was the clue. So he knows that he can bust through. He can bust through the building. Like, I don't know how Jimmy Olsen even knew that. Right? Like, Jimmy Olsen would have to, right, like, set the clock. But he busts in, and we get Lex Luthor. I mean, I love Luthor, Brainiac Luthor. Brainiac Luthor is so legit. And then, boom. He's like, yeah, we found Ultra Metallo Goliath. You're going to have to fight him again. And then look at that shadowing. But guys, so far, like, this is just reading page to page very well. Over here, we don't like this over airbrushing. Right here, a little bit too much. And then boom, like they are fighting. It's all go no quit. Judge your artists, judge your sequential guys by how well they draw civilians. Like people scattering away. I always say it's like it's like the atmosphere, like within the atmosphere shots, it's how we layer our backgrounds, like again here, layered very well. How we draw little tiny people. These are the illustrative measures that you have to take in if you're ever trying to do this. And then if you can't do it, don't try. But great pose here. Like look at these, and look what Dave Gibbons does. This entire, you can argue this entire sequence, Super Soldier is on the center, right? But he's mostly on the absolute right of the fight sequence. We talk about this a lot. Look, like here, like he's on the right. Center, right, you know, like that's the solo panel, but he's like facing right. It's like right. And why is that? Because subconsciously, we're tracking what's happening between the two characters. And then boom, inside Metallo's chest. We will see this also coming up this month. Let me give you guys a little bit of a teaser. We see the same gimmick. Metallo's chest encapsulated with kryptonite. We see it in here. Another crossover. If it's a crossover, it gets that gimmick. Yeah, and we get a little bit more of a complicated fight scene because we're now thrown into some type of a abandoned construction site. But we have all these perfect comic book piping. Another wonderfully drawn Brainiac Lex Luthor. A punch in the gut. Well, you know, he reveals it right there. You know, weakens himself. But dude, our boy takes up flight again. Bangs into him. Kerrang! Since only he knows the secret of the K-bombs. Oh my god, they gotta stop the K-bombs. Metallo. Again, too, because we're dealing with limited pages, limited paneling, the fight scene, in my view, at this point, loses a little bit of cabin pressure. But Super Soldier gets thrown across the Lincoln Memorial, the reflecting lake of the Washington Memorial into the Lincoln Memorial with full-on kryptonite blasting. And that's it, dude. He's going to get it. But he flies off. And our boy here, he is, I guess, like he's getting a Woodrow Wilson right now because nothing's going to stop him. And he's almost there to the White House and the bomb's going to go off. And then boom, from that construction site. Crunk right through the chest. Impaled. Our boy, look, he just like throws. He just like hurls this. Hold up though. Like, like we don't know where he throws it until we get through our 96 Fane Awards. But then, yeah. See, like, it would be nice if we, like, had a little bit more of a path. Because, right, like, it crashes in, he throws it at the headquarters. It's a bad day for Luthor Brainiac. Nice negative panel here. But look, he's cleaning up. Super Soldier's cleaning up. He's carrying that pipe with him. And then here we go. We're moving on. But the day the war begins anew, the front lines will belong to the super soldier. The battle never ends. And one of the coolest parts about this series, this little comic book gimmick / promo, is that, we have a little preview here of the next issue, a little write-up. Really cool stuff. I would love it. I think they're doing this again. They're bringing this again. They have to just continue the issues with these notes. That's really what they have to do. But guys, Super Soldier. So be mindful. For Fantastic Four Superman month, we will also have Challengers of the Fantastic coming up.